Hey guys, so I was watching this video by this it was like a marketing video by this guy who was teaching a couple marketing principles. And in the comment section, I see a person go, the audacity of this person. He's wearing shorts at eye level. It's so unprofessional. I'm like, what? So basically the speaker was on stage and he's wearing shorts. Everyone in the audience was wearing kind of was just sitting down in like regular chairs. So the person was saying that because he was wearing shorts and his legs, and it wasn't like his thigh was showing, it was like his knee was showing. The pants were right above, probably about 3 inches above his knee. And the guy's like, that's unprofessional. Bro, every person that's in that conference that it was his own event, literally had paid $5,000 to be there. It's like, bro, you don't need, you're focused on the wrong thing. Focus on how do you get 200 people in a room that paid you $5,000 each. Don't focus on the, oh my gosh, with pants are showing. But that's what I see a lot of beginners thinking about, right? I don't know if that comes from just a corporate background of having to be professional, of, very, very, very rigid thinking. But it's in order to start an online business, you don't really have to be that professional. I think that's the difference. That's what causes most people that are, starting their business to fail. Because every time you have to have something professionally done, it adds time to the equation. The one thing that you don't want to do as a business owner is add time to things. You want to be able to go and ship products. So shipping just means getting out there and have a version of it that's just good enough. Okay? And the reason why it's important is because if it's just good enough, you can reiterate. The challenge most people have is when you think that you have to have everything perfect before you launch, you are assuming that you're actually going to have a pretty big viewership, or that enough people are going to see it to where it actually matters. But in an online business, it's actually the opposite. No one is going to see what you produce. So you produce it to the best of your ability to get it out as a good rough draft or final draft. And then the market is going to tell you what they think about it, what they don't like about it, what they want you to change, and then you change it based on the market perspective. That's another thing. If you've never gotten a client, you only have or if you only have 2 or 3 clients, you don't really know what the market wants. Just being completely honest with you. I was talking to this guy, and he was thinking about joining the program. He ended up joining the program, but he was yeah, I think I have a great marketing message. Bro, you don't have any clients. Your marketing message is not it. And I didn't say that to him. I was thinking it. Sometimes I won't tell you if you haven't paid me money, I'm not gonna be disrespectful to your thought process and your plans. As soon as you pay me, that's when I'm hey man, that's not it. But up until that point, he was saying yeah, he's doing all this work on emails and random stuff, and I'm okay, cool man. And he's I think I got it down. It's well, if you're not getting any responses, you don't have it down. So let's kind of tweak some things, man. So the next thing is you got to understand with this business, it's very simple. It's just most people don't understand how to identify points of leverage. They don't understand time frames. They also don't understand how to probe for urgency or get a proper estimation of someone's time frames. So earlier I said people don't understand time frames. Both time frames of how long does it actually take to get someone to want to work with you, and also what is the time frame of the individual person that's sitting in front of you. Because some people they're gonna be ready to move forward today, right? Because maybe for example they're gonna get audited soon, or maybe because there's a tax deadline that's coming up, right? So they need to have it that's a time frame, that's their time frame. But if you don't know that, you're going to treat them differently than someone who maybe they have no time frame. So you have to start learning how to ask questions in your consultation call that not only build value, but also expose certain beliefs and situational things that are going to come up. For example, do you ever ask someone if they're ever going on vacation? Or if there's any reason why I would not be able to get this thing moving forward, ASAP? Or is this more of day kind of decision, or was this more of like a 1 to 2 months kind of decision? You can understand the time frame, right? Because if you're assuming that someone's like talking to you and they're ready to get started with you and they're going to sign up tomorrow, but in their mind they're actually thinking 2 months from now, that is a giant disconnect. And you're going to be feeling like you did something wrong on the consultation call, when in actuality, you did it right. It's just, it was not in their time frame to buy. But the one thing you didn't do right was you didn't get a clarity on what their time frames were. So that's one area that I would probably change if you could like improve it. When you're asking a probing question like that, if you're asking like someone's revenue, if you're asking about someone's time frame, ask about someone's partnership, like the more of these like questions you ask, you have to learn how to ask the question too. Generally, if you're gonna ask, like the more invasive a question you're gonna ask, the more upward inflection you need to have in your voice. So it's like, hey, so inside of your bank account, like if I'm gonna ask like how much money do you have in your bank account, I'm gonna either say the first part really like how I just did, but I might add some, like, if you don't mind me asking, or I might say, yeah, you know, in terms of like, you know, finances, you see how my voice just kind of went up a little bit higher, it's a little bit softer. It's less imposing, and it's less it's more asking like if it's basically communicating if you are ready to share that piece of information. It's like a suggestion. I'm not making you do it, but it's like a suggestion. It'll be helpful for both of us, right? And once you understand that, it's easier. And like oftentimes you have to understand too, indirect versus direct leads. So I was doing my sales script, right, for our program, and there's a new version of the script, like it's a new wrinkle that I'm starting to do for it. So there's like a direct script and an indirect script. So indirect is more for like if you're like on social media and you're like doing indirectly prospecting and you're messaging people, and then like they kind of want services but they don't really know if they want services. So you have to treat that lead slightly differently than if like they reach out to you and they're like, yeah, I need to move forward right now. It's gonna be slightly different. So I give you guys the ability to actually handle both sets of those kind of buyers, and also like for the ones that are very direct, really easy ways to handle like really pre-handled objections. For the indirect, it's more about forming positive beliefs that are going to lead to the sale within like 1 week or 2 weeks of you talking to them. So it's really kind of cool when you actually have that skill set to be able to do that. And I think that's one thing that a lot of the students have been able to benefit from, is really understanding like who are they actually speaking to and how should they speak to that person. But going back to what we're saying, focus on the right things. What is it called? You talk to people, you give your price quotes. Technically, if I wanted to distill down to 3, it's talk to people, sign people up, and then do the work. Book calls, do consultation calls, do the work. That's it. That's the only 3 things you got to focus on. Now, unfortunately, within those 3 steps, there's a million different things you got to do, and it's not a million different things you have to do. It's more of like there's a lot of like lessons that you have to learn and like thought process you need to have in order for it to really work. And the better you get at that pattern recognition in the beginning, the easier this business is. Because it's literally just repetition. Like this business is just repetition. It's like, how many times get on a consultation call and say the exact same thing, but then get the exact same answer? How much work can you handle at one time? So it's like, it's very, very, very consistent. That's what I love about this business. So consistent. So consistent. Awesome, guys. Hopefully you had a good rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Take it easy.